Morena Koto. Welcome back to our vlog, the Bookshop Detectives vlog. We must be on episode 6 or something by now.
Or something.
And it's been a quieter week for us, which has been quite pleasant. We've had some evenings indoors in our own home, which has been rather lovely. But Tuesday and Wednesday we had book club. So Tuesday in our Napier shop and Wednesday in our Havelock North shop. And we were discussing Ori We Brown by Christina Sanders. And it was a great discussion, eh?
Yeah, it was really good. It was a really great book. I loved it. I thought it was, fantastic. And the writer is just brilliant to me. She just gets the voices so well. I just find her writing very, very good. And this one in particular I loved because there were two people called Patrick and Jim.
Paddy and Jim.
You're
going to get them on a T-shirt, aren't you?
Yes, Team Paddy and Jim. And they weren't good people necessarily, but I don't think they were bad people. They were just a bit flawed, and they did some quite stupid things, and it made me laugh a lot. They were the comic relief, because there's some quite heavy subjects in there, hey?
So
we ought to tell people what it's about, really.
For context.
Well, it's about Paddy and Jim.
No. Ori We Brown starts with the Burke and Hare anatomy murders in Edinburgh, and that's where the tension comes straight in. And Burke was hung, and Hare was, because he turned, what's it called, King's evidence on Burke, he was sort of thrown out of Scotland. They sort of dumped him on the English border. And there's a rumour, a long-held historical rumour, that he may have come out to New Zealand. So that's what Christina Sanders has run with historically, and her research, as ever, is impeccable. And so we start with a young woman who's been a slave on a whaling ship, a young Maori woman, and she is left behind by the whaling ship and doesn't go, hello, wait for me, because she's had a terrible time, and she stumbles into the bush, and there she meets a man called Ori We Brown, because he lives in the bay, and he says, is that what? Yeah. And so he says, oh, well, you can just shack up with me then. And so she's out of the frying pan and into the fire. But what Chris does so incredibly well is she will put you in that place. Like, he has a shack, and he does makes grog, doesn't he? It's almost like hooch or moonshine. It's really disgusting. And the sort of local alcoholics know it's disgusting, but they can't keep away from it. And he's quite a dangerous man. What flashes into your head? What were the sort of main things about the book from book club? You know, when you think of it.
Paddy and Jim, they were brilliant.
They have a little dog at some point, don't they? And he refuses to name it, but eventually it just becomes son of a bitch. So there are light moments.
Or Sonny. And there was a little girl called Mary. And a big part of the story is about her father trying and failing to look after her.
Trying so hard.
So it's there's sort of probably 3 or 4 main plot strands, and the main one, I guess, is based around this character of Ori We Brown, who may or may not be Hare from the Burke and Hare murders. So it was a cracking mystery.
Just great sense of place. You can smell it. You know, if you're at the sawmill, you're there. You can smell it. If you're if Mary's wandered into the prostitute's house, it's gross in there, you know, and it's scary. And it's just an incredible book. Well done, Ms. Sanders.
We confidently predict.
Oh yeah,
she wins something. She wins some awards.
It will definitely. Well, I would say it'll be in the Ockham Book Awards, but
who knows?
We'll see.
Book
Who
Awards
knows?
are so random. And interesting. I don't know if it's interesting, but police story about, because they took Hare and they just like dumped him in England. When we were in the police, we had this itinerant called Daffyd McVarish. And he was like every copper's first arrest for drunk and disorderly, because that's what he did. And occasionally, when he became too much of a problem, the night shift would put him in a car and drive him over to Kettering, so he became their problem for a bit.
That's very naughty. That's very naughty indeed. Obviously, modern policing doesn't work like that. Okay, moving along. So, Nuit Blanche.
Yes, so then we had Nuit Blanche, or White Night, on Saturday night in Napier, which is when they have lots of lights and performers in the street and street shows and food vendors.
Based
and
on
bands.
a European festival, isn't it?
Yeah, called Nuit Blanche,
Nuit
White
Blanche.
Night, which bizarrely, I think, was Germany, even though Nuit Blanche is French. But I don't know. Maybe I've got the history of that wrong. So that was good. And we had outside the shop, we had collage, didn't we?
Yeah, so Vicki has an artist, Vicki Walford, has a studio called Abstract Antics, and she set up a beautiful wooden desk outside, and she got all little bits of collage, bits of paper and words and things set up, and people could come along and just discover a poem. So they would use what was there and put it together. It was like a found poem, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was mobbed all night.
Yeah, it was good.
So thanks, Vicky. That was great to have outside the
brilliant.
shop. Yeah.
And then I guess there's been a couple of big book releases, New Zealand book releases this week.
Katarina is book 2 after Owe by Becky Manawatu, and that's getting some absolutely brilliant reviews. So that's Auntie Kat's story,
Yes.
if you remember from the first book. So that's in store now. And Kawai, Tree of Nourishment. So Monty's been badgered for this book for for a while now. Yeah, so the first one, Kawai, For a Time Such as This, I might have slightly got that wrong, was the pre-European story of New Zealand, Aotearoa. And this one is when the British arrive, possibly Norwegians, and so it would be all the whaling people first before the Wakefield family and the New Zealand Company, I suppose. So haven't read it yet, but looking forward to diving into that and welcoming Monty to Hawke's Bay Readers Writers Festival, which is only a couple of weeks away.
Yes. And I believe Monty was in the New Zealand SAS, wasn't he? Is that right?
I think he might have been.
Yeah, because when you meet him, he's this lovely sort of gentle
quiet,
calm-spoken chap. And then
Got to watch him.
And then he tells you, his history has been in the SAS.
Can kill a chicken with my bare hands.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably a lot
I mean,
more.
He's never said that.
No. Can we tell our Becky Manawatu story or not?
Don't see why not.
So, a few years ago, I was being awfully at Dunedin Writers Festival, and Becky Manawatu was there, and after the opening session ceremony type thing, there was a few authors went out for a drink.
We had a beer or two.
We had a beer or two. We found this lovely little pub that we stayed till quite late. And Becky was there. She was a lovely lady. She really was.
Great.
She
So
was
much
really, such a
fun.
nice person.
Yeah.
And then the next morning we were walking through the streets of Dunedin going to go for breakfast. And Becky came walking up the street and she said, I can't remember where I've parked my car.
Very confused, walking up and around the Octagon there.
Yes, it was quite a good night.
Not saying there was anything to do with alcohol being imbibed. I don't think it was anything to do with that.
But well done for her, sober drive. Well, sober walking, presumably.
Sober walking.
Yes.
Yes.
So what else have we got going on next week?
Oh, there's another New Zealand book, beautiful book that's just been released by Bateman Books. It's called The Writing Desk, and it's by Di Morris. And it's a graphic novel, and it's the most beautiful thing. So it's based on Di's family. And when she was about 4 years old, she went to visit Great Auntie Marjorie, and she became fascinated by this writing desk, a Japanese writing desk. And over the years, she sort of teased out the family story about where this came from. And we go way back into the 1870s and 80s. Two sisters, Elsie and Margaret, and Elsie was very academic in a time when girls weren't supposed to be academic, and did really well at school and ended up going to university and becoming a doctor. Oh my gosh, a woman doctor. So she did that, and then Margaret was the homemaker, and she had to stay at home and look after all the babies that Mum kept producing because there was no alternative to that. And then it's how those two sisters' stories diverge and come back together, and it's just incredible. The artwork and the story is incredible, and it's a social history also, because you get that feminist history, but you also get what's going on in Aotearoa at the time in these beautiful little drawn boxes. So that's amazing, and that's going to be launched on Monday the 14th of October at 5 o'clock at Woodford House in Havelock North in the library there. So if anyone's around, hop on our Facebook page and you can register.
A fun fact about Di Morris. It's like a video blog of fun facts today, isn't it? Fun facts.
I have no idea what you're going to say, and I'm nervous.
Oh, okay. Well, I used to play D&D with Di Morris,
that's
and
all right.
in Tarquin the Honest books, the character of Accra was based on the character that Di used to play.
That's right.
Yes.
Oh, no, that's a perfectly tame fun fact.
Yes,
Well done.
yes.
Yes, great. And very exciting
What's
news.
the most exciting news we've got?
Well, something that I don't normally get sort of nervous, but I've got a little bit excited, nervous about this one. So Marcus Zuzak, who wrote The Book Thief, has just got a beautiful memoir out at the moment called 3 Wild Dogs and the Truth. And I badgered our rep, who comes in and sells us Macmillan books, and said, do you think we could get Marcus Zuzak on a Facebook Live? And she said, I don't know, but I will try for you. And did she ever? Jo King pull through. So she's just been amazing. And on Tuesday, the 15th of October at 12 p.m, because he's on and off planes at the moment doing a book tour, Marcus Zuzak will be live on our Facebook page. And you can type in your questions, and Gareth will feed them through to me, because I will be trying not to talk too much and let Marcus do the talking about his amazing book.
So fingers crossed that the internet fairies and the technology.
That's what you're going to be nervous about.
A good work for us, and that Marcus doesn't get like late on a plane or some other reason. But fingers crossed, touching wood, everything. All
can you do?
All the things that we can do.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he should be with us on Tuesday. So that'd be brilliant. Not tomorrow. If this goes up Monday, 15th of October. So that'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
Fun fact about Marcus Zuzak. I haven't got one yet. But, maybe one day, perhaps if we get invited to an Australian Writers' Festival, we could go out drinking with Marcus Zuzak. Wouldn't that be good?
I don't know if he drinks.
I don't know if he drinks.
He might have a lemonade.
We could go and talk about dogs with Marcus Zuzak.
That
We
would
could
be
do
great.
that, couldn't we?
Yeah, Steve is actually in the room
Steve
today.
is under the table.
We've trapped him.
We're feeding him treats. And then our other exciting news is we got our provisional cover art through for book 2, which we can't really tell you anything about other than they gave us 3 options and we've sort of chosen one that they're going to develop, isn't it?
I said, come on, look at this. The email's through. And we're like, oh, that's nice. Oh, that's disgusting. It was orange. Wasn't good. And then the third one. Yeah, so, it's going to be great. Yeah,
Cool.
So thank you very much, Penguin. I didn't mean to be rude about your cover art, but no orange, thank you.
No.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's us. I've got to remind you to subscribe and ring the bell. And someone did tell us what ringing the bell means. It means you get told when we put a new video up. So,
cool.
So that might be useful if we have other best-selling authors come on and talk to us. You will then know about it.
Well, you're going to record Marcus Zuzak, aren't you? And put it up on YouTube.
I'll put that on the YouTube as well. So yes.
Yeah.
So ring that bell
Ring
and subscribe.
that bell.
Cool.
All right.
I think that's us, is it?
Yeah, that's great.
Marty Wa.
Matewa.